So here we are with a pimped pot noodle. Standard ping. I've used a king pot noodle. You can use a normal pot noodle. You can use super noodles. You can use kabuto noodles. Any noodles in a pot, or just make it from scratch with standard noodles. Cook them in stock. But we're gonna pimp a pot noodle and turn it from just a mundane snack into something that looks gorgeous and is a proper meal. Not that there's anything wrong with a standard pot noodle, but this is a lot better. And it all starts with some crispy fried shallots. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make some crispy fried shallots to go on top. They add a lovely bit of texture to something. All we're gonna do is we're gonna slice these up quite thin and then fry them. Well, we're gonna toss them in some corn flour, but so you can do these one or two ways. So you can either go long, thin slices like that, kind of like a shoestring sort of chip fry sort of thing, or you can do little half moons. Either which way, completely up to you. Break them all up because we don't want big chunks here. So make sure they're all separated. And in here, I've got a couple of tablespoons of corn flour. I'm just going to give it a few cracks of black pepper and a pinch of salt. And then we're going to chuck them in there, breaking up any bits that you notice that haven't been broken up. Just give them a tossy toss and get a sieve. And what I like to do is just pull them out, chuck them in a sieve, knock off any excess flour because we don't want massive chunks of just fried flour. I'm just gonna bang that off like that. And I'm gonna put them there to hang out for a second while I wash my hands. So here I've got a saucepan with some oil in, starting on quite a high heat, but we're gonna turn it down. We're gonna put these in when the oil's still quite cold. The trick I learnt off of, there's a chef around called Thomas Straker. So they're gonna start off with cold oil. So what's gonna happen is as they come up to temperature, the moisture in there is all gonna evaporate and get pulled out. Give them a little stir, make sure they're all a bit separated. And they're just gonna chooch away. We're gonna keep an eye on them. I've already got some kitchen roll, kitchen towel, paper towel on a baking tray ready to drain them out onto so they don't get super greasy. Whilst that's doing its thing, we're just gonna get the rest of our mise en place. So not got too much else here. Got a couple of garlic cloves. I'm just gonna go through them one way like this. And then through the middle of it that way, because it's kind of a chunky one. And then we're just gonna slice that up. And this one I'm only gonna go through this way. I've got a fresh red chilli here. So this isn't a particularly hot chilli, so I'm gonna leave the seeds in. But tip, if you wanna dice a chilli up, kind of similar where you leave the root end like with an onion. So I'm just gonna cut through it that way, and then rotate it, slice through it a couple of times, like that. And then if you just come along, you end up with diced chilli. But this only works if you're okay leaving the seeds and the membrane in, because obviously to get the seeds out, you're gonna need to take the root end off. But if you want to do a whole chilli, just helps keep it all in one, and then you don't have to muck about julienning it and then lining it all up and doing it the other way. So the other thing I've got, a couple of spring onions. Take those root ends off. Now I'm going to use the white parts in with our flavour base that we're going to fry off earlier at first, and then the rest of that I'm going to chuck through a little bit later. So I'm just going to thinly slice these. I'm going to turn that down a little bit because we don't want to burn it to a crisp, but keep an eye on them. We're looking them to go nice golden brown. So the only other thing I would normally do is dice up some ginger and put that in there as well. But I've looked everywhere and I can't find fresh ginger that doesn't look super manky. So I've got a jar of ginger paste. I tend to keep that in the fridge for emergencies thusly. So I'm going to put a teaspoon of that in there as well. The only other thing, so I've got some soy sauce. I've got some sriracha. I've had a bit of heat because like I said, actually it's not too hot. Got some chili crisp to go on top. This I keep in the cupboard all the time. It's brilliant. It's kind of like chili oil, but more chili and crispy bits in it. And it's lovely textural. And I've got a tin of water chestnuts. I love these things. They add great texture, crispiness, but they're a bit chunky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them out of the tin. And I'm just going to clank through them a little bit with my knife. Probably got miles too much here to be fair, but just like that. Just make them a little bit smaller. Push them to one side. I'm just going to slice these up. Like I said, the green parts of the spring onions are going to be almost more of a garnish. They're going to go in a bit later on. So they're already starting to get a bit brown. Just want to keep an eye on them because they will go from almost brown to charred very quick. And so I'm just going to whack on the kettle because we've got to make our pot noodle as well. Soy sauce packet, you can take that out and eat that away because we're going to use proper soy sauce. Not that it's probably not proper soy sauce, but we're going to use soy sauce. This chicken and mushroom, you can do this with any noodle, any pot noodle, any noodles. If you can just do it with just plain noodles that need cooking. What I would say though is if you want, make this all a little bit more flavoursome, is if you cook those noodles in stock, you're going to get so much more flavour out of them. So just water up to the line with our pot noodles, and my shallots are almost there. There we go. Kill that heat. Get these bad boys out. Spread them out over that. Right, these are going to crisp up as they cool as well. So I'm just going to put them to one side, let them chill. Move this out of the way and get a frying pan out. I'm fairly certain these are vegan. They're definitely vegetarian. That go to one side while it's just doing its thing. I'm going to get a little frying pan out because I'm going to put a crispy fried egg on top. So that will make it not vegan, obviously. But that's not a problem. Leave out the egg if you want to make it vegan, but it will stay vegetarian. So I've got a biggish pan here. I'm going to get that on a medium high heat. Chucking a squidge of vegetable oil. And once that's come up to a half decent heat, I'm going to go in with our spring onions, chilli, and garlic, as well as a hefty teaspoon of our garlic paste. Ginger paste. Oh, I do that every time. It's not that bad, but it's not great. I'm just going to fry that off until it starts to get a bit fragrant. Little pinch of salt, just to help bring the moisture out of those onions and chilli and garlic. Careful on the salt, because there's a lot of salt in that pot noodle already. And we're going to add a little soy sauce as well, just to bring the party together. Right, a couple of minutes later, say 2. That should be really nice and fragrant. And what we're going to do, we're going to chuck in our pot noodle. Make sure you got all the flavourful bits out of there. And I'm not going to use all of these because there is a lot of these water chestnuts here. So I'm just going to go in with a decent sized handful. Now what we're going to do, turn that heat up a little bit. Oh, we're going to go in with squeeze of soy sauce and a squeeze of sriracha. I haven't got to use sriracha, I haven't used soy sauce, use what you want. And what we're going to do is bring that up to a little boil, heavy simmer, and we're just going to reduce that down. So this isn't going to be like a noodly ramen-y sort of jobby. It's going to be a lot more, almost like a chow mein, a saucy chow mein. All I'm going to do, I'll turn that down a little bit because I want it going nuts. I'm going to nick a bit of this oil just because there's nothing wrong with it. Splash of oil in that pan. Get that heated up. I'm going to push these to one side because I'm going to do a crispy fried egg in the oil. And I'm going to put that on there just to drain any excess oil away. Normally I wouldn't bother. The problem is these eggs, I don't know if they've got especially thin shells, but every single one of them I've used so far, I've ended up with shards of shell in. That looks alright actually. I don't want that heat down a little bit. Just going to go in there with that egg. So what you're going to end up with is like this. So it's going to get all bubbly, aerated, and it's going to get really crispy around the edges. But what we're also going to do is carefully, we'll get that hot oil, just baste it over the top to cook the top. Careful not to burst your yolk. I'm going to call that done as well. Seconds. Let's put it on there as well. I don't want excess greasiness. Right, so this should now have reduced down. So you just got, like I said, a saucy chow mein sort of jobby going on. And all we're going to do, green spring onions in, Get them incorporated. You can turn your heat off now, pretty much. Serving vessel of your choice. I would go with a bowl, but you do what you want. Bang that in your bowl. Crispy fried egg on there. Go on there with our crispy fried shallots. You can just plonk it on. I'm just trying to make it look a bit sexy, you know, for the gram. And then right on top with our crispy chili oil. Use as much or as little as you like. I love the stuff, so I'm going to pile it right on. There you go. Pimp to pot noodle. So, didn't take very long. You can take it, you can leave out the crispy fried shallots. You can buy those little tubs of crispy onions to go on salads. They'll do the same sort of job. If you just want the pot noodle, there's nothing wrong with that. I quite often will eat just the pot noodle. But if you want to add just to go for the onions, garlic and chilli and ginger, takes it all up a notch, you know? Or just put it in a bowl and put a fried egg on top, and it just makes it more of a meal, so you're not just sitting there on your own at home eating a pot noodle straight out the pot. Bean sprouts or water chestnuts or bamboo shoots. Just add layers of flavour, layers of texture, and turn what is a relatively mundane snack into a proper meal. And you know what's coming. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, follow me on Instagram. And that's pretty much it. Once again, see you later, sayonara, and I'll see you when I see you.